moment. I am so excited about the amount of interest that this is now gathering. I think that it's been talked about for quite some time, and I think that we have a great opportunity in front of us, and I think that that's quite rightly so. And I think that if you think about where we are in medicine's development today, and if you think of all the legislation that we've taken on in the last 20 years, I think that the moment is absolutely right, because I think that we have to do better. And I think that we have to do better collectively, and I think that this is our opportunity. And MAPS is a critical component of helping us do that. And I'm particularly excited because I think this is, something that we have so far failed to do, which is what certainly a couple of the speakers mentioned, which is use real-world evidence and in some cases potentially replace this by the usually wanted randomized clinical trials. I see that as an absolutely huge opportunity. And when I think about the development of the legislation, I mean, 20 years ago, there were no risk management plans. There was very little pharmacovigilance. And today, we've got all the pharmacovigilance legislation. We've got all the post-marketing requirements. And part of that is because we actually have the technology and the tools that we can do these things post-marketing. In the old days, we couldn't do them. There was nothing. I think the most there was a bit of spontaneous reporting. I mean, registries hardly exist. There was nothing electronic. So I think that we have a fantastic opportunity. When I think about what are the barriers to putting this in place at the moment, I think that an enormous number of people don't understand what we're talking about. I think that there's an awful lot of miscommunication. I think that a lot of people in this room probably have a very good knowledge of this, and I suppose it's incumbent upon us to help explain it. And I think that those of us in the industry know how little it's understood, just because of the way James mentioned that you go to different teams in your own company, and there's a great amount of resistance. The first question is, well, what are we going to get out of this? So I think that this is our responsibility. And then the second one is when the lawyers come in and they tell you, well, there's an intellectual property problem. Okay, and you tell them this is a safe harbor. So, I mean, I encourage all of us, please, use your energy, use your perseverance, because once we've done it once within a company, particularly if we have valuable, useful experience, that is going to be so much easier for us to sort of sell it on for the next opportunity. So that I would say is definitely one of the barriers. That's an internal one that we can cope with. I think that I'm not going to talk about pricing and reimbursement. We need some sort of practical way of managing this, and clearly to satisfy other things, we do need that the intellectual property rights shouldn't be in any way diminished. So what sort of tools do we need? Well, I think that the tools that we need is dedicated resources, maybe within the company, but definitely within the different agencies. We definitely need the dedicated resources. And then we will need some reassurance that this is worthwhile. And I do think that the IMI project has a very good opportunity to help us achieve that. But if you take all of this together, honestly, I think that the time is right. I think that if you look to the US, there's great movement that will help us. I think if you look to Japan, they have their Sakigake project, but I'm sure we can see some parallels here. So I think that this is really a momentous moment, and we must capitalize on it.